Happy Sunday, everybody. What is going on? Well, we have to talk about the DOJ investigation update. You know that a couple of months ago, and since 2021, the Department of Justice here in the US started a huge investigation into short sellers because there have been a lot of research and facts pointing to the fact that maybe the research companies like Citron, the short sellers companies and the media outlet work together in collusion in order to actually make a scheme, short selling stocks and making also huge amount of profits in the back of other market participants, especially retail investors. So let me start with this. This is already something we knew, but this is an update. A vast DOJ probe looks at almost 30 short selling firms and allies. Allies are other companies like, the brokerage firms. Robinhood, for example, has been suspected and also have been sued because there were reasons to believe that they were working in collusion with who? Citadel Securities, one of the biggest short sellers in AMC Stock, in what happened back in the remove buy button in January 2021. So the DOJ, Department of Justice, is collecting a trove of information on dozens of investment firms and researchers engaged in short selling as part of a sweeping US hunt for potential trading abuses, according to people with the knowledge of the matter. And you can read here. In early 2021, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, seized computers from the home of prominent short seller Andrew Leff, the founder of Citron Research. This was early 2021. But calendars and other relating to almost 30 investment and research firms, as well as 3 dozen individuals associated with them, the people said, asking not to be identified, discussing confidential trend. This is the DOJ, all right, Department of Justice, subpoenaed certain market participants seeking communications. Why is it really interesting? It is interesting because at the very same time that the DOJ is actually getting and digging deeper into finding, answers into this whole scheme, we are actually also looking at something very interesting here because we do have a building that just burned. That was 2 days ago. A TD Ameritrade Bartlett warehouse burns after investigation announcements. The Bartlett warehouse fire seems to be a records storage facility owned by TD Ameritrade. This is really interesting because the retailers, the apes, dig deeper and found out that it's incredibly suspicious since the incident occurred after the SEC announced 60 hedge funds were to undergo investigations for manipulative short selling. When you dig deeper, this is the video of the fire destroying document warehouse in Bartlett. And actually, if you want to listen to what it has to say, here it goes. So let's listen.
12 hours after smoke alarms first sounded, this firefight continues. Officials say this warehouse was stacked floor to ceiling with boxes of documents, providing ample fuel for the fire. Tonight, this massive storage facility, a total loss, gutted by flames. What began, workers say, as a few boxes on fire, growing into an inferno.
Few boxes of fire growing into an inferno, pretty much to the point where every single thing, there is pretty much nothing left of what used to be this building. Now, when you dig deeper, you actually see that this building belongs to who? TD Ameritrade. We're going to see that in a second.
These walls are collapsing on us. We don't want to get any of the firefighters within that collapse zone. So at this point, we're all aerial operations.
The trouble starting around 10 a.m. inside the 250,000 square foot facility on Humbracht Circle in Bartlett, used by a document storage company called Access. Officials say a sprinkler system initially kept the fire in check, but when a series of steel racks that were used to store boxes collapsed, there was no saving the warehouse.
When that rack storage collapsed, it took out the sprinkler system in the building. Once we lost that sprinkler system, we could no longer control that fire.
The smoke billowing for miles could even be seen on our live Doppler 7 Max radar. Nearly 10 miles southwest of the fire, a resident in Geneva sent us this photo of possible ash from the blaze found in his yard.
So everything burned down to the ground. Now, what is really interesting is the DOJ announces about, as I mentioned, an ongoing investigation into short selling, and an off-site document storage facility burns out outside of Chicago. Well, when you look at the address of this building facility, it's owned by a company named Access. Now, when you dig deeper, guess who's the facility connected to? TD Ameritrade, and a lot of the records were stored at the facility. TD Ameritrade is a company that is a brokerage firm, one of the biggest here in the US. So if this was a facility where they were storing documents, this is going to be records that the authorities are obliging you, making it mandatory for you as a brokerage firm to hold on to these records for maybe 10, 20 years. All right. So it's really interesting to see how these two are connected. All right, Bartlett Warehouse fire address. This is it. You can feel free to check this website. I'm going to put the link below, and you can see that your full legal name on the Form ADV, TD Ameritrade. So this is not a fake. All right, this is not a fake. Now, in this other, interview where the SEC is actually pointing out to what they're about to dump on short sellers in order to work in conjunction with this vast DOJ probe, is really about cleaning up the market. So, I mean, if you read in between the lines, if you connect the dots, you already know that this might not be a simple coincidence. This is what I think, but feel free to believe something else, all right? The point is, since 2020, these short sellers used schemes in order to make a lot of money, shorting companies that were not even going to bankruptcy. But when the AMC case rose, all right, when the AMC came like the tip of the iceberg on how deep this cancer is for the whole market, the authorities had to actually jump in and make sure this stops, because if it doesn't get fixed, it's going to be a total chaos for the market. Even Charles Gasparino said, breaking, the Justice Department, DOJ, investigation into alleged abuses of short sellers is focusing on as many as 60 firms with particular focus on activist short sellers, sources tell Fox Business Story Developing. This was February 3rd. So what's the connection? The connection, personally, I think, is the fact that the DOJ and the SEC regulations that are about to be dumped by the end of this month, and potentially one starting to be implemented tomorrow, is going to be something that will shed the light around some of these under the table activities that the short sellers were using in order to profit a lot from this short selling. There is nothing wrong with short selling, but the truth of the matter is, when you actually look into how big of a deal it is for AMC, for example, I mean, to be shorted billions of shares going through drug pools, I mean, they have to be something that is not legal, because we have facts also pointing to the fact that, well, we might be looking at billions of synthetics. I don't know how many naked shorts, but the bottom line is it is not legal. And because it's not legal, that's why the DOJ is digging deeper. So by the look of how bad is this fire belonging to TD Ameritrade, which is, by the way, sitting in Chicago, where we also have the headquarters of Citadel Securities, the hedge funds. I mean, they moved it, but now in Europe, but most of the activities used to take place in Chicago. So, I mean, this is a writing on the wall. If you don't know what this means, then, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's literally a drawing for all the retail investors invested into AMC, GameStop, and bunch of other stocks. So I wouldn't be surprised if, this is literally the beginning of the end for them. It's just a matter of time. In other words, it's just a matter of time.